We're diving into a topic that has captivated hearts all around the globe: the power of manifestation, the law of attraction. One woman has reminded millions that our thoughts hold incredible power. You know her as the mind behind The Secret, the book and film that turned the law of attraction into a worldwide phenomenon, selling over 30 million copies and translated into more than 50 languages. Her follow-up bestsellers, The Power, The Magic, Hero, and The Greatest Secret, have continued to inspire multitudes to manifest their brightest lives. And now she's back with a brand new book that takes abundance to a whole new level. Countdown to Riches. It's not just about money, it's about redefining wealth in every way. We're kicking things off with the extraordinary Rhonda Byrne, the Australian author and television producer, about her inspiration, creative process, and what it really takes to attract riches, both material and spiritual. Welcome, Rhonda Byrne. Rhonda, it is such an honor and such a thrill to have you with us today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you, Sophie. It's really lovely to be here, truly. And hello to everyone in Germany.
Thank you. I think I must have manifested this.
Oh, I think you did. You must have. You must have.
Well, congratulations on your new book, Countdown
Oh,
to Riches.
thank
What
you.
sparked the idea for Countdown to Riches?
Well, it was really my journey of going from a lack mindset or a scarcity mindset to an abundant mindset. And it was a big journey for me. It was over a year. I tried so many different things, I would create all these practices and then I would try them one by one by one. And Countdown to Riches contains the practices that I used myself to get from scarcity mindset to an abundant mindset. Because once you have a wealth mindset or abundant mindset, then money just comes. It just comes like that. You get a pay rise, you get, an investment you did goes through the roof, like all these different things. You go to buy something, it's on sale. Like it's just everything seems to happen for you. And so I've been thinking about doing this book for quite some time. And so actually doing it now is really, really great. And I'm so excited for people to take the journey. It's not going to take them a year like it took me with all the practicing, but all of the practices are incredible because you can just integrate them into your daily life so easily. I mean, each one counteracts the lack thinking and the
And
scarcity thinking.
yeah, and the title sounds intriguing too. Why countdown? What does countdown symbolize for you?
Well, because it's 21 days, and so it's counting down the 21 days to riches. So that's where the title came from. And yeah, and the reason that I've done it that way in 21 days is you start to develop a momentum, and as you begin to change the subconscious mind, because this book is all about infiltrating the subconscious mind and eradicating beliefs that do not serve us. So it, it so the practices infiltrate the subconscious mind, and then day by day things get better. Each day, things get better until you do finish the 21 days. And of course, being the mind, because we're working with the mind, there always needs to be some kind of maintenance. So I suggest, one practice a week or whatever, the one that you love the most, and to do that as a way of maintenance, because the world is quite focused on lack and scarcity. There's not enough of this, not enough of that, and so on. And so it's important to keep your beliefs in line after the 21 days.
So you suggest actually going back to the book and doing the practices on like a weekly basis?
Yes, I just think once you've done the 21 days, there's a real momentum. And so that's very important for the mind. We're kind of saturating the mind with abundance and riches. We're not giving it a chance to think of anything else. And so once that has occurred over the 21 days, then I would say, like, there is, for example, a an affirmations recording, which I'm asking people to listen to at night, because that's the time, late at night or when you first wake up are the two times that you can get something into the subconscious mind. And so I'm asking people to do that each day from, I think, day 3. But so that might be something that after you've done the 21 days, you just listen to that once or twice a week. Or you choose one other practice and you do that once a week. The thing is, everybody's different. Everybody has had different conditioning from their parents, from society, and it is different for everyone. I mean, I think for me, I was conditioned to lack extremely, like extremely conditioned to lack in my upbringing. And so for me, it took some work to get rid of all of those beliefs and eradicate those beliefs that are not true. They're not true. So, so I think I use the world as my, what can I say, as my guide to know how I'm going. So if, for example, if something breaks down, this is no big deal, it's like 20 years old or something like that, and it breaks down. But then if something else breaks down and something else breaks down, I'm like straight into doing a practice because I can see, that these things are happening. So I use the world as my guide, and it speaks quite loudly, the world, when it comes to money and things and the amount of money that things cost. And I mean, we have Christmas now, and I'm sure people would be feeling it. Christmas is a kind of a lot of money paying out, an expensive time of the year. So it's a good time to do it. Yeah,
Yeah, it's the vibration that gets reflected back to you. And you keep
absolutely.
up the practice, you stay in that vibration. Now
Mhm.
you inspired millions with a secret. What new secret or truth can readers expect this time around? And how does Countdown to Riches expand on the legacy of the secret?
Well, it's Countdown is really using the principles of the sacred, but directed completely towards abundance and prosperity. So I am using thought in Countdown. That's what I'm doing. I'm not telling people to go get a third job or, go work 10 hours harder. Exactly the opposite. It's the opposite of that. Countdown is sort of going to jump into their lives, and where they tend to have lackful thoughts that then are not giving them the life they deserve, Countdown jumps in and turns that all around. And so it's still using the same principles. However, the practices, unique because they're all the ones that I created myself and did myself, and I know that they work. And so that's really what is kind of new here, because they're practices that I've not talked about before or shared before.
Yeah, that's very concrete and specific. And what does the word riches mean to you personally? Is it just about money or is it something deeper also?
No, I think riches is a rich life is, rich with everything, rich in relationships and rich in health and uh, just uh, just enjoy, and happiness. All of those things are really important. And I would never suggest to anybody that they worship money as a god, because that actually has the opposite effect of what anybody wants. Uh, However, I know what it's like to struggle for money, and I know what it's like to go to sleep and not know how you're going to pay school fees and all those kinds of things. So I've been in that place and I know what it's like, and I know how detrimental it is to our health, to our relationships, and to our happiness to be stressed like that about money. So Countdown really addresses way more than money. I feel that it's also at the same time helping with health and helping relationships. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And many people still struggle to believe in manifestation as a whole. What would you say to those people who are skeptical of the law of attraction?
Right. Do you know, Sophie, I thought when The Secret was released, every single person in the world would now know that their thoughts create. And so the fact that there are some people who don't believe that, because even all these years later, for me, it is truer than it ever was when it was first released. And I've done a big journey since then, and wow, it's just all there is. And so even if people are in a place where they're like, oh, I don't believe in law of attraction, it's still working. Doesn't make any difference whether you believe in the law or not. It's like gravity. You can say, oh, I don't believe in gravity, I'm going to jump off here. Gravity works for absolutely everybody. Law of attraction, or whatever you want to call it, it was called so many things throughout history. But it is a natural law. It's a spiritual law, and it's working whether somebody believes it or not. The thing about realizing, and for me, when I discovered it, my whole life flashed before my eyes. I could see how I'd created all the things, the good things and then the not so good things. And so, but also I want to say, I'm not here to convince anybody. I'm here just to share. And for those people who want to have a better life, those people who want a life free of stress, and to be happier and enjoy it. And I'm sharing for those people. And other people who are choosing not to believe, they're absolutely fine where they are. Eventually they will.
Well, thank you
Eventually. It
very
might not be this lifetime, Sophie. It might be 10 lifetimes from now, but eventually they're going to get it and they're going to say, oh my gosh,
So
it's true.
what would you say is proof that the law of attraction actually works?
Your entire life. I mean, the thing is, you have to be, to see the proof of it, you have to be really present and aware. You have to be very aware of what is happening in your life. So you can see the connection between a thought that you thought and something that appeared. And I mean, I have all the proof in the world because, The Secret, I visualized it, like absolutely every aspect of The Secret I visualized. I visualized all of the letters. I visualized people's lives changing. I visualized the book in the window of every bookstore I passed while we were making the film at number one book. I visualized the whole thing. And the team and I also did a lot of intention meetings. I used a lot of intention. So that's like the greatest evidence, because how could one woman from Australia create a global phenomenon? I needed help from a law. I definitely needed help. Yeah.
Yeah, and you often talk about the power of gratitude.
Yeah.
How does gratitude tie into attracting wealth and abundance?
Look, I think it's a really there are three. I think there are three practices in Countdown that are focused on gratitude, and gratitude is really is essential for happiness, for being present, for life running smoothly, things not going wrong, everything going right. Gratitude is essential. Like there's a now I have to remember if I say this. There's a passage in one of the holy books that says, for those who have gratitude, except the word gratitude is missing because it's veiled, for those who have it, they will receive even more abundance. For those who do not have it, even what they have will be taken from them. And so for those who have gratitude, they will receive even more. For those who don't have gratitude, even what they have will be taken from them. So gratitude is just, I mean, anybody who practices gratitude knows how good it feels to be grateful. It just
Yeah.
feels so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That passage is on page 94. I
Ah,
I opened that book. I've read it, of course, a couple times,
yeah.
and I opened it last night, and I just opened page 94. So I'm familiar
Oh,
with it.
wow. I
But what
love
I
that
find,
passage.
yeah, me too. It's so revealing.
Mm.
Yeah. Now, what I find confusing for a lot of people, it's easier to manifest a parking space than to manifest $5 million. But for the universe, it's exactly the same thing if you manifest something small or something major. But why is it that for a lot of people, there are things that are easier to manifest and some things that are more difficult to manifest?
It's really all comes down to resistance that we don't believe it's possible, because you just have to believe when you want to manifest something, you have to believe you have it already. That is the key thing for manifestation. You have to believe you have it already. And so for people when they're trying to manifest something really big, they can find it very hard to believe they have it already. And sometimes they don't even understand or know that is one of the key things. In fact, that really is their greatest job, is to believe they have it already. So when you visualize something, like I was visualizing The Secret and the letters and the book and everything, it had already happened when I visualized it. And so law of attraction is just reflecting what I visualized back to me in the world. And so you have to see it in your mind. Here is cause, in the mind is cause, and in the world is effect. So you have to see that you have it already. And that's the biggest thing. Now, the other thing is we have a whole lot of beliefs. $5 million is just huge amount of money. I don't deserve it. I know, it's too good to be true. Nothing comes easily in life. There are so many world beliefs that each of us have absorbed probably when we were children, and that we're trying to combat all of those beliefs. But it is possible. I mean, the thing about Countdown is designed to do exactly that with money. It is designed for you to have a wealth mindset now, already now, not in the future, because law of attraction will give it to you in the future. If it's in the future, it has to be now. You have to feel it now. And so that's, the biggest mission of the book is to turn that around for people.
Now, if The Secret was about discovering the power of thought, to what extent would you say that Countdown to Riches is about applying that power into action?
It's fully applying that thought into action, but not like physical action, mental action. So yes, it is. Countdown is applying the secret principles into mental action for abundance, prosperity. Yeah, it's exactly how it works.
Wow. When you wrote this book, were there any personal experiences or breakthroughs during the writing process for you?
I did notice when I was writing it that money was just coming easily from everywhere. uh, so that was something that I noticed. I remember my accountant calling and saying, "Oh, that thing you invested in, you just made $8,000 this morning," and I was just like, "Wow!" Because I'm writing this book and of all the practices that I did, and as I'm writing them, I'm kind of living those practices, right? So yes, that was the biggest thing that I noticed with the book. And plus it was an absolute joy to work out, like some of the practices, for example, the boomerang effect practice had biggest effect on my life. But I didn't know how to shape that into a way that would work for people, because with the boomerang effect, I actually gave money away. And I don't want to say to people that are struggling to give money away. But then I just asked the question, because I ask questions all the time and I get the answers. How can I do this so there's no risk for people? And then I realized, oh my gosh, I manifested so much money from that practice simply because I imagined giving away the money to hundreds of people. I actually only gave money away to 2 people, but I imagined giving it away to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. And so I manifested $25,000, which is unbelievable, in 48 hours. And then because I was so grateful and I knew that I'd done it, I knew what had happened, then another $10,000 arrived. And this was when I was like credit cards to the max, taken an overdraft on my company, mortgage on my apartment. This was all to get the secret out into the world. Like I put everything on the line. Yeah. And so this money coming in was incredible.
That
Yeah.
really is amazing. So, what does a typical day of your creative process look like? Do you follow any rituals or routines to stay inspired while you
I,
write?
I do. I'm always changing it up. I always spend some time in the morning doing some spiritual work, and that might be reading a really ancient text and contemplating that and meditating on that. I mean, I always wake with a really powerful thought and reminding myself of who we are. Uh, and all through the day, I always check in. Am I aware? Which is from the greatest secret, but I'm always checking in that I'm aware. Because one of the things about being aware is if you are aware, you will notice any rogue, I'll call them rogue thoughts, any thoughts that are negative that are not going to serve you, that will sabotage your life. And so if you are aware, then you will notice those. But not only that, awareness keeps you happy. And there is a practice in Countdown to Riches which has you focused on awareness. Because believe it or not, when you are aware, that's when everything runs smoothly. That's when you feel really good and you're happy. And when you feel really good and you're happy, you're way up on the happiness frequency where everything you want is sitting. And so if you're happy and feeling great, then everything you want is there ready to manifest, and a smooth life and everything going your way. And people are really lovely to you. And, oh, wow, there's no traffic this morning. And, all of those kinds of things. So, yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
has society's awareness as a whole changed since The Secret, especially around the relationship with money?
Yeah, good question. I think initially it was amazing. There are millions of people that never let it go. The thing about the mind is understanding the mind. If you stop reminding yourself of the way life works, if you stop and you just let the world razzle dazzle you and you're reacting to everything in the world instead of creating what you want to see, then you're going to fall away. And so there definitely, because we get so many stories, millions of people who have not let that happen. And they know they will have the book, the secret, or the magic. They will go back and they will do the magic again, which is 28 practices of gratitude. They will do the magic because they can see that their life is getting a little funky. And so they'll go and do the magic again. And I know this because I just signed a whole lot of books and they were all telling me about the magic has changed their life, or the power has changed their life, or the secret. So I just think you really have to be on it when it comes to the mind. The mind, you can mold the mind to whatever you want. It's just a program. It's not any entity or anything like that. It's just a program. but you do need to maintain that in some way, and being positive about things and not talking about what you don't want and talking about what you do want and all of those things. They're really, really important to do.
Yeah, you often emphasize energy and vibration. What's one simple way people can raise their money vibration in daily life, especially when things are not working out at all?
Right. I don't know, any one of the practices. I tell you what I would do as a start, because I think gratitude is the easiest, fastest way to turn things around. Hands down, hands down. And so, in terms of money, I would suggest that they sit down and they think back in their life of all of the, not all of them, but a whole bunch, 20, 40 things, different times where they had money paid for them where they didn't have to pay any money. So, like school clothes and school books, and going to the theatre, and the bike that they loved, and the skateboard that they loved, and the horse that they got, and all of those kinds of things, and the vacations that they took, and the car that they got to travel in, and to write down all of those things, thinking about each of those things. And as you do that, you realize that in your life, you have received an overwhelming abundance of money where you never paid anything, and where it was paid for you. And that is a really incredible practice that can really help people. Because remember, what you're thinking here, you manifest here. So therefore, you're feeling grateful for all the things that you've received, and then just more comes, more comes, more comes. I mean, I always say gratitude just multiplies everything. And so another thing that I would suggest with gratitude, any dollar that comes in the door, whether it's your salary, whether it's you save some money because something was on special, or somebody gives you something that you really wanted, to be so grateful for every single thing. Be grateful for your salary. Like, some people think, why should I be grateful for my salary? I worked really hard for it. Sure, you did. But what I'm suggesting will multiply it. Will make more money come in. So be grateful. Seize every opportunity where every dollar that comes to you, be so, so grateful for it and really milk it. And you watch what happens.
Yeah. What's the biggest misconception people have about manifesting wealth?
Um, that they think that things are too big, for them, or they don't deserve it. That's probably one of the biggest things. Their beliefs, of course, are what gets in the way of any manifestation. Yeah, it's really their beliefs. And so their beliefs can be, I don't deserve it. Money doesn't come easily. Money doesn't grow on trees. And that's why for Countdown, we used the theme of a tree throughout the book, of money growing on the tree, because people are so convinced that the only way that they can receive money is through their salary and their job, and it's not true. You can just take a look around at the world and see, if is that the only way people ever receive money? No, it's not. They all receive money from all different ways, so they get a way bigger tax refund than they ever thought they were going to get, or they paid too much, so here's a check back. And so there are just so many different ways, or a relative leaves them money. I mean, I want to tell people that the universe has unlimited ways of bringing money to them. Unlimited. We cannot, with our mind, think of all of the different ways that the universe can bring money, but it can bring money in so many different ways. What we have to do is not tell it how to do it.
That's great. Yeah, so there's manifestation, but what about karma or fate? To what extent can that block our power of manifestation? Or would you say that karma and fate are also just thought forms?
Well, they are. Karma is completely based on thought. nothing else, just thought. And of course, action is thought in action, and feelings come from thoughts. And so karma, the law of karma, is a rebalancing of energy. And that's really, too, what law of attraction is as well. They're the same thing. So it's just rebalancing. It's not a punishment law or anything like that. It's what we send out comes back. There's no judgment. It's not personal. It's just whatever you send out is going to come back to you. Yeah.
So what's your personal definition of success? And has the definition of success changed over time?
Wow, I don't, it's funny because I never really, like if somebody said to me, oh, you've been successful, I don't ever think of it in that way. I really don't. I really don't, because I know the universe had my back, had our back, the whole team. You know, we're just so fortunate. We knew what to do. We knew how to leverage the universe, and we leveraged it to the hilt. And so, yeah, success is maybe understanding how life works, and then following those principles. Like I have a friend, he wrote in when The Secret was first released, and he's a billionaire, and he wrote in, and he amongst the hundreds of thousands of emails, and he wanted to talk to me because he said, this is how I have lived my life and what you've written in the book, and I've been incredibly successful. And so somehow or another that email made it to me, and I emailed with him, and then we talked, and we still talk to this day. I love him dearly. He's fantastic. But do you know what he does every single day? Every single day. When he has a shower, he writes on the steam on the glass the things that he's grateful for. Every single day.
That's
Every
beautiful.
day. Right? And he is so happy all of the time. He is just, life is good. I mean, that's what we need to be saying. Life is amazing. Universe loves me. You know, life is incredible. Life is wonderful, even when it's not. You have to say that. So it'll be like that when it manifests. But I just think is the glowing, perfect example of living the secret to the letter. Yeah, he is incredible proof of what you can do. And in fact, one of my books, Hero, is full of all people who against all odds achieved incredible success. And every one of them started from nothing, no way, nothing and no way they could achieve anything in their life. And every single one of them went to mind-bogglingly, incredibly brilliant, whether success, whether it be sport, whether it be an entrepreneur, whether it be a business. Like, for example, GM Rao in India is one of the wealthiest people in India. He builds freeways, hospitals, all of these things. Do you know he was born into a village, a little village in India, where is absolute poverty, absolute poverty. And here he is in the world achieving unbelievable things, making life better in India for all of these people. And GM Rao lives to the letter these principles. So Hero is full of all of the people who live this. There's so much proof, right? So much
Amazing.
proof.
Well, and obviously you've reached global success. You're one of those amazing people. And what is one of your secrets to staying grounded and grateful while being so influential?
Gee, I guess because I just think of myself, I just think of myself as just the same as when I started out. Uh, I'm just super grateful for the work that I do. I really am. I love what I do. And to hear how our work changes people's lives and how it changes their lives, is just a dream come true. It really, really is. It's absolutely wonderful. And so I think everybody, all of the people, keep me grounded and keep me remembering who where I began and 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 where we are now. But to me, it's just the same. People, when I was signing books, these people would come up and say, "You've changed my life so much. I'm sure you've heard this a million times." And I say to them, every time I hear it, it's like the very first time. That's how it feels to me because I visualize that over and over and over again. Pardon me. And so, when they say that, it's just the best. It's the best. So I think all of that keeps you very humble. And I know I didn't do this alone. Like, I just had a force in writing the book. Like, when I write these books, it's just unbelievable. Like, the universe is right there pushing the energy through me. So, yeah.
Yeah, you've influenced so many millions of readers worldwide. And what continues to inspire you after
You
you've inspired
know,
so many people?
really, probably things that are a lot more advanced, maybe, is the way to put that. I wrote The Greatest Secret, which was a really big step for people who get to that place, who want to know more about who they really are and what the world really is and where did they come from and where do they go to. And so that's really where I where I kind of sit most of the time. I am listening to spiritual talks that are reaffirming that we are awareness, we are consciousness. There's no end to us. Sure, the body ends, but it's just like a car, a vehicle that we're using for the time being. But who we really are, there's no end. Ever, ever, ever. It's eternal life. So whether we like it or not, whether we like it or not, it's for all eternity. It's for all eternity. And that's what I love so much. I just love, I just love reminding myself of that, especially when you see pain in the world and things like that. And I just remind myself everything is okay.
Mhm.
Everything is okay. There's no end to anyone. And I absolutely know that for certain.
Wow. Yeah, because a lot of people are irritated by everything that's going on in the world, and the world is so fast-paced and digital.
Yeah.
How can people stay mindful and focused
Yeah.
on abundance instead of on lack or on the horrors of the world?
I think for a start, don't indulge in the horrors of the world. Don't like watching the news and things like that. I just think that just sends your frequency plummeting. And if you can't do anything about it, and the news is all, I worked in news at one point before The Secret, and the news is all about finding the worst footage that they possibly can to show. And the news is all about showing hotspots in the world that, where there's disruption and violence. But those hotspots compared to the rest of the world are minute. They're minute. Like, the world is full of, actually, nature is full of abundance. The world is full of peace and joy. And yes, there are these hotspots. And look, probably for another 11 million years, there will continue to be those hotspots. So I think really filter those things, so you don't expose yourself to those things. And if you really work at gratitude and all of those, intention and all of those things, they won't come into your experience. Like, if you are feeling really grateful and happy and joyful, you will never turn on the news because it's not the same frequency that you are on. So it's very important to have the thoughts that make you feel good and make you feel happy, and think about all of the things in the world that are joyful and that are really great, like to end the day and to end the day and say, what was the best thing that happened to me today, which is something that my daughter developed with her children. What's the best thing that happened today? Like, to just end your day like that, because then the mind has to go through, was it that? Was it that? Was it that? All it's doing is looking for the best thing that happened. And then your next day is going to be so much better, right? Instead of going to bed and worried about something you can't do anything about. And it is so important to remember that no one dies. It's a big wheel, is coming back, coming back, coming back. I remember a really wonderful spiritual teacher said to me, many bodies, one life.
Huh. Now, would you say that everyone has the same potential for wealth, or is it also a matter of alignment or timing or other factors?
It's definitely alignment. I mean, they need to be on the right frequency, and they need to definitely lose any beliefs they have. But wealth is different for everybody. Like, not everyone wants to be a millionaire. Some people feel that's too much responsibility. I would really struggle with that. But what I'm talking about with Countdown to Riches is financial freedom, so that you can do what you want to do, so that you have enough money to go on vacation if that's what you want to do. You have enough money to buy, clothes for your children, enough money to go out to dinner with your family, like that. So we're really talking about financial freedom, because that is different for absolutely everybody. And that is what I want Countdown to Riches to do for people, is to set them free financially for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, it really is a form of freedom. But many
Yeah.
people have guilt attached to the concept of money, um, or shame. And how can someone overcome the guilt or fear of wanting more money?
Well, all I can say that what I would say is any feelings of guilt is just coming from the mind, and it's not true. It simply isn't true. And so it's all coming from the mind. And so that is something that your subconscious has bought into. Oh, it's not spiritual to want money, it's everything's spiritual. What do you mean? Like, it's all spiritual. And there are all those kinds of thoughts, but guilt is just one of those things. From any negative emotion that we feel is the mind delivering that up to us, and we have to throw it out. We really do. We've got to say to the mind, you know what? That's not for me. You got the wrong person. Move on. Move on. Take that guilt elsewhere. That is not for me. I'm not going to wear it. And really just stand up to it, instead of like swallowing everything the mind does. That's the biggest thing I would say for people. The biggest step to absolute ultimate freedom of everything in your life is not to believe your negative thoughts.
Now, if Countdown to Riches were made into a film, who would you love to narrate it?
Oh, wow. I don't know. Oh, my goodness. I don't know. I've not a clue. I'm looking at my daughter, seeing if she, yeah, she's saying my friend, who's a billionaire. Yeah, it would be somebody like that. I think it would be somebody who has traveled the road against all odds, has come through it all, and knows it all. That is imperative for me. Yeah, so somebody like that, somebody who has. And all the teachers in The Secret were like that. Most of them were homeless, living in phone boxes, living on the streets. And then they had this huge awakening. And I'm just so grateful that I had that awakening back in 2004. So, yeah.
Yeah. And finally, can you give us a hint about what's next? Or should we say, is there another secret?
There's another book that will be coming out the end of next year.
That sounds
So,
very, very exciting. So another secret, another countdown, another book waiting to be released.
another book, yeah. And they'll love it. They'll love it. It's fantastic. One of the things, of course, with Countdown that you would have noticed, because you've gone through it a few times, is what we've done is we've made a book that's for non-readers.
Uh-huh.
Like there's not much reading in this book, is there? Really not much. It's like a lot of energy in the book and not too much reading. And there's a lot of treatment to affect the subconscious mind. So without this, like when they turn the page and they see that goes straight into the subconscious mind. So we've designed this book to really, really help people in every single way, to help free them of any financial restraints and give them financial freedom.
Yeah, it's a fun read, it's an easy read, and it's a
Yeah,
very effective read.
yeah, good, great, thank you.
Great. Rhonda, thank you so much for this inspiring conversation. And you
Uh,
continue to remind us all that abundance isn't something we chase, but something we choose and something we
yeah.
create. So thank you for sharing all your wisdom with us. And thank you for our conversation, for this interview. Do appreciate
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much, Sophie, for having me and sending heaps of love to everybody in Germany.
it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, a Countdown to Riches has hit the bookstores, so make sure you grab your copy and start your own countdown to a richer, more vibrant life and thrive. I'm Sophie Adele.